Good morning, St. Luke's. It's the 14th, it's Friday, reading through the book of Acts. So this book was written by a man named Luke, and he's also the one who wrote the Gospel of Luke, the Good News of Luke. Good news being Jesus, of course. So he also wrote the book of Acts, and like any writer, he has to choose which parts he's going to tell us. I mean, there's a lot to tell, right? So if you're writing a book, you have to figure out, well, which parts should I pass on? I can't tell them every single detail about everything, right? Even John said that when he wrote his book, can't possibly tell you everything. Not all the books in the world would cover all the things that we got up to. So he has to figure out what to tell us. And it's interesting to note that Luke thinks it's important that we know that this started off as a small group, maybe about 120 people. Jesus' mum was there, Mary, and Jesus' brother was part of the group, and the disciples were part of the group, and a whole lot of women were part of the group, and probably some of the disciples' wives. We know that Peter had a wife. Disciples actually, by the way, were probably under 20 years old. Jesus was 30. Rabbis couldn't call students until they were 30. The students finished their apprenticeship at, let's say, 15. Then you could go off and fish on your own. So these disciples would be between 15 and probably 20. So it's a pretty young group, right? Which explains their confidence and their enthusiasm and their vision and their desire to change the world. Right? Because you're more likely to have that inclination at 18. However, I digress. So Luke wants to tell us that this early group were not on their own. In fact, they really looked out for one another. They were a tight-knit group. They didn't just rely on their immediate families. If someone needed financial help or emotional help, food, clothing, I mean, you name it, whatever. Luke says this group really, really looked out for one another and looked after one another. And it was one of the reasons why people were so attracted and wanted to join the group, because it's like they're thinking, wow, these people really care, don't they? Which is one of the reasons that the church grew at a phenomenal rate. Something to ponder. Peace be with you.